You're listening to WGSL 104.7 online radio, your home for truth, healing, and transformation. And this is the Daily Dose with your life coach, Gina Cherie. I want to take a moment to welcome you in, whether you are joining me for the very first time or if you've been with me on this journey for a while. I am glad that you are here. This is your space for truth, healing, and personal growth. A place where your voice matters and your transformation is honored. So remember, healing doesn't have to be loud and growth doesn't have to be hard. Sometimes all it takes is small shift, a kind word, or a moment of stillness. Whether you're walking, driving, or laying in your bed or sipping your morning coffee, this space right here, right now is for you. Today on the Daily Dose, we are going to focus on how people confuse confidence with insecurity. I'll be hearing stuff, I promise you I do. But we're going to give you some journal prompts for today. We're going to give you some key clues to look for if you are one that might be dealing with insecurity. I know this subject is touchy, like many other subjects that we do talk about. It is approximately 12 o'clock in the morning. This is a record, by the way. I recorded earlier, and I don't know what happened, but the audio did not take, so yay me. So we're going to get through this one more time tonight so you guys can wake up in the morning and listen to the episode. How many times have we met someone who seems bold, loud, and unshakable, but something in your spirit whispers, not that it's not confidence, that it is a cover-up? So basically, how many people are we coming across that seem to present themselves with confidence, but it's just a mask for their insecurities? Quite a bit. There's quite a lot of adults that are walking around with a full-blown mask on, and they're walking as if they have confidence, but it is just a mere cover-up for their insecurities. And I think we live in a culture that when we reward image over authenticity, people are praised for appearing strong, but not actually being strong or honest. We celebrate boss energy. I know you guys hear that all the time. We're a boss, we're a boss, we're a boss, we're a boss. And a lot of times that's not the case. But we rarely talk about what's fueling this mask that people are wearing as confidence. True confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to prove, perform, or persuade. But insecurity is totally different. Insecurity has to be seen. It is loud. It needs validation. It also craves approval. It wants applause even when the heart behind it is shaking. We deal with a lot of people, or we come across a lot of people that are just loud for what we think is no reason, right? But I will say this: when you come across somebody that is overly loud, and you're thinking that it's not for a reason, it is. It is to be heard. It is to be seen. That individual or people, he or she, have been going through life feeling as if they have not been heard or seen. So they use that loudness to do just that, so that you can pay attention to them, so that they could be heard, they could be seen. And sometimes we confuse the two, even in ourselves. Sometimes, and even with me, I used to think I was walking with confidence, but behind closed doors, I was so dealing with a lot of insecurities. So when I tell you I am speaking from the heart, that's exactly what I am doing. But we're going to break down some insecurities, and we're going to break down some confidence, right? So Confidence says, I know who I am even when you do not see me. I can hold my confidence in who I am even though I'm not being seen. I'm not being heard by everybody. I still have confidence in who I am, right? Insecurity says, I need you to see me so I can feel like I am confident, right? That's that person that's overly loud so that they can be seen and heard, right? Um, let's get comfortable. Like, hold on. All these pillows are just comfortable right now. For example, someone who is confident can say no and mean it without guilt or over explaining. And I know you guys heard me say in other episodes about saying no and meaning it without explaining. Oh, excuse me. And not overly explaining ourselves when we say no, right? No means no. But somebody that's insecure will say yes, so that way they can be accepted and they are not feeling like they are left out, right? I need to see me so I can feel like I am confident, right? So when someone is insecure and they say yes to everything because they are afraid to be left out, judged, or forgotten, okay? So that is an example of confidence and insecurity. A confident person can say no and mean it without overly explaining themselves. An insecure person may say yes so that they can seek validation and be accepted and not feel judged or left out or forgotten. Someone confident can celebrate other success. There's a lot of people that be doing that fake clapping for you, and pretending that they're happy for you, but they are secretly jealous because of that insecurity. They secretly don't want to see you win because of their insecurity. They could be threatened by your success. They could be threatened just by who you are. They could be threatened just from your presence, right? You can walk in and not say anything, but you have such a presence on you and a confidence on you that their insecurities are going to start screaming, jumping, and just taking over, right? And sometimes they can hide it, and majority of the times they cannot. Your confidence is stirring up their spirit for a good reason, right? Because they're insecure. And just by you knowing who you are and walking in that, they're threatened by that. They're threatened by just your presence being in the room with them because they know they're lacking something, right? We deal with a lot of adults that are walking around and masking insecurities, right? And they're threatened by your presence. They're threatened by just who you are. They're threatened by your confidence. Hell, they could be threatened by what you got on, the purse that you carry, your lipstick, your hair, anything that that person is lacking within themselves. They're going to have a problem with anything that you do. Okay? And I want to say this gently. Many of us have worn insecurity disguised as confidence, maybe after a heartbreak, a loss, or a time when we didn't feel seen or heard. We become louder, tougher, more put together in a sense. And then, but inside we are protecting something else that is tender. We're protecting that insecurity. We're protecting something that we don't want other people to know or to see. But behind closed doors, we are crying inside. And we're going to give tools today to help in how to recognize some of these too, okay? But I want you guys to understand we're not shaming anyone that have insecurities, but we are going to highlight so that they can be honest with themselves and kind of do a self-reflection so that they can say what their insecurities are, deal with them head on, and start the healing process so that they don't have to walk around being insecure and being broken, right? So this is not a shame, it's an awareness. And an awareness is where our healing begins if we can be honest with what we're dealing with and why, right? I hope you guys have your journals because this is going to be a journal day as usual. If you're just tuning in or your first time listening to the Daily Dose, I encourage everybody to get a journal because a journal is a way to release things. It's a way to go back to and reflect how far you have come in your journey of growth and healing. So if you do not have a journal, and a journal could be anything, you guys, anything you can write something on and keep track of could be your journal. So that you guys can do the journal homework for the week, and I'll give you guys all my social media handles and everything so that you guys can connect with me and do your journals prompts for the week. Okay. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna move on to, oh, you guys, I am so tired. Excuse me, this is the second time we are recording today. If you guys are just tuning in, you're listening to the Daily Dose with Life Coach Gina Cherie on WGSL 104.7 online radio, your station for growth, grace, and grounded truth. We are talking about confidence and how it may be confused with insecurity or vice versa. People that are masking their insecurities with confidence. And now we are revealing the difference in the two so that we may recognize what our insecurities are and confront them head on and deal with them. So at this moment, I want you guys to take a breath. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And I want you to do it one more time, or maybe twice if you need to. Take an inhale in peace and exhale performance. Inhale peace and exhale performance, okay? I want you to understand that you don't have to prove your worth. You already are worthy. And today we are talking about the difference between real confidence and the insecurities that sometimes hide behind it, okay? Now we're going to move into the section where we self-reflect and healing work. Ding, 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 if you have your journals out. If you are driving, I understand. Do not try to focus on the road. Don't try to write or anything else. Just focus on the road. But if you are in a safe space where you can pull that journal out or pull anything out and write with, this is the time for you to do that. We are self-reflecting and healing, and we're going to give you some journal work. So how do we recognize when our confidence is actually insecurity in disguise? So we're going to give you 5 different ones. I will go through them and I will repeat them, okay? So number 1, you consistently need to be right or have the last word. Again, you consistently need to be right or have the last word. Number 2, you feel uncomfortable when others shine. See, when we talked about that earlier, somebody that's insecure cannot help you celebrate your success, but someone with confidence can. That's what this number 2 is talking about. You feel uncomfortable when others shine. Number 3, you chase validation instead of purpose. Again, you chase validation instead of purpose. Number 4, you confuse being seen with being valued. And that one is a very good one. I think you need to put a star behind that one. And that can be another episode, especially when it comes to relationships. You confuse being seen with being valued. Number 5, you get defensive when someone challenges your image. You get defensive when someone challenges your image. Okay? So if any of those sound familiar to you, do not beat yourself up. Do not do the blame game or the shame game. It's your inner self saying, see me, heal me. Okay? See me, heal me. That means we're seeing what the problem is, and then we're going to do the work that it takes to heal from that, right? True confidence doesn't come from applause. It comes from acceptance, right? It's the quiet peace that says, I don't need to be perfect to be powerful. Put a star against that. Ding, 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 ding. That's your star. I don't need to be perfect to be powerful. Okay? If you guys still have your yellow sticky notes or you're still writing on your mirror, which I definitely encourage for you to wake up and look at something that's going to encourage you to start your day. This is one of them. Ding, ding, ding. I don't need to be perfect to be powerful. Okay? And also remember healing starts when you give ourselves permission to be real, even when being real is messy. Anybody that's on a healing journey, a growth journey, needs to understand that growth is often messy. You're going to have some stumbling blocks and some very, very, very ugly cries. So I've been through the ugly cry stage, just snot running down my nose, just eyes puffy, just then you get stuffed up. Have you ever had a cry where your nose and everything is just stuffed up and you can't breathe because you're just crying? And everybody goes through that. And I feel like that is and sometimes needed, because that's another form of release, right? So we can get it out and be able to deal with that emotion in the moment, right? So maybe today you can take off the mask. Maybe today you can admit that I don't have it all together, but I'm growing. That honesty, that's the beginning of confidence. So let me say that one more time. Honesty is the beginning of confidence, and it's also the beginning of healing, right? Because you cannot heal and move forward and become the person that you are destined to be if you are not honest about what you need to heal from. And that is a part of the journal prompts that I do give, because that is your moment to be honest with yourself. It's not for everybody to read. It's not for everybody to know. But it's for you to have that moment of honesty, right? And to write down your true feelings, your true emotions, so that you can deal with them head on, and that you can heal from whatever is keeping you bound, right? All right, so we're going to do some of our takeaways for today as well. You can also reflect on this and make this part of your journal if you would like. And that is number 1, notice when you're performing and ask yourself, am I doing this for peace or for praise? Right? Am I doing this for peace or for praise? Right? Am I helping this person because I want to do this at the kind of my heart, or I'm helping this person and I'm doing these things so that I can be praised for it, so that I can be seen and heard, right? Number two, start validating yourself. Write down three, okay, that you love about who you are, not what you do. Okay? Who you are, not what you do. Okay? I'm a loving person. I care. I speak life into people. Okay? That's what I love. What I do is radio. Just for an example, right? I do this. I do that. I drop out books. I feed the homeless. Those are action things that we do. But now we're going to reflect on what we love about ourselves. Okay? Write three things. I love the fact that I can forgive. I love that I can release. I love that I can separate myself. I love that I have boundaries. Okay? So that's what I want you to do. Pick three things that, and write them down in your journal that you love about who you are, not what you do. Okay? Number three, surround yourself with people who celebrate your truth, not your image. And I'm going to take this one a step further. I need you to surround yourself with people who can pour into you that you can pour into them. I need you to surround yourself with people that do not condone toxic behavior. Okay? Surround yourself with people that hold you accountable for what you do. I think that's very important when we're choosing, and we use this word, we throw this word around very loosely, but I think we need to pay more attention on how we're using this word, friend. Because a lot of times we are surrounding ourselves with people that are pretending to be your friend. You could be a friend to them, but they may not necessarily be a friend to you, or vice versa, right? And I say this because if your so-called friend is enabling you to continue toxic behavior, there's no growth, nothing positive, then they're not pouring into you, and you're not able to pour into them in a positive way. Those are not the people you need to surround yourself by, right? You need to learn how to disconnect yourself from outlets that no longer work, and plug yourself in a new outlet that gives you the energy that you need. If my words are making sense, okay? If you're trying to go back to school and better yourself, you're trying to get a promotion, you're trying to start a book, you're trying to start a business, and you're surrounded by people that do not want more out of life and do not see themselves going any further, you definitely need to disconnect. If you're surrounded by people that are not working on their insecurities, they're miserable and they don't want to change, they're used to being unhappy, you definitely need to disconnect from them, those type of people as well. And just be extra cautious on your healing journey of who we are allowing in our space, right? Because this is a new space, because you're on a new journey. So, and also remember, when you're going forward in something new, a lot of them cannot go with you on this journey because they're not supposed to, right? And as hard as it may seem to disconnect from people that we've known for a very long time, and you guys heard me talk about this in previous episodes, just because we've known someone for a long period of time does not mean that relationship that you have with that person has value. And I hope my words are making sense, okay? And you need to recognize that, and you need to start disconnecting. You can still love them, you can still care about them, but they need to be from a distance. Okay. Um, I've talked about that in previous shows. If you are connected to the Daily Dose, you will hear that in quite a few episodes. So take a pick. Let's see. Yeah, the last one is surround yourself with the people who celebrate your truth and not your image. Remember, confidence isn't about being flawless, it's about being free. You can't heal what you keep pretending doesn't hurt. Ding, 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 ding. You can't heal what you keep pretending doesn't hurt. If you keep masking your feelings and pushing everything down, telling yourself it doesn't hurt, you're not dealing with it. You're playing poker at this point, in my opinion, because you're just putting on a mask and you're masking everything. You're not dealing with it, right? And that's when we take all this extra baggage with us. Remember, bag lady? That's what you're going to be if you do not deal with things that are keeping you bound, right? And keeping you from healing, keeping you from growth, keeping you from being that person that you're desiring to be. If you do not be honest and you keep pretending that it doesn't hurt, because then you're not going to deal with it. So, all right. You've been listening to your life coach and your certified counselor, Gina Cherie, on the Daily Dose on WGSL 104.7 online radio, where we inspire, uplift, and heal together. If today's episode spoke to you, share it with someone you might need, who might need a little truth and encouragement. You guys always hear me say, if it's not for you, I totally understand. But if you know someone that is dealing with insecurity and still walking in their brokenness, make this a domino effect and pass it along to someone else. And if you guys want to connect with me, you can do so by emailing me at host Gina Cherie, host GINASHERRIE at gmail.com. You guys can also connect with me on my Instagram, The Daily Dose, and DM me. If you guys have questions or you guys want to add anything to the conversation, that's exactly where you guys can do on either one of those. If you guys listening and connected to my Spotify, you guys can also leave me a message on Spotify directly. It does come to me directly on my phone. Once I see it, I will respond to it. If you guys are doing journal prompts and you don't mind having me share this on the show, then you guys can definitely let me know that in the DMs. And once you guys do that, you guys are giving me permission to share on the Daily Dose and WGSL 104.7, right? Hashtag me. Do hashtag Gina Cherie / insecurity. And that will let me know that it's from this particular episode and this particular show, right? And yeah, remember the Daily Dose airs every, well, it's not Sunday, but we mostly do it on Sundays, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. I am on Eastern time, you guys, so it might be a different time if you are in a different region, but that's what I love about Spotify. If you cannot catch the live show, you can always listen on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Apple Podcast, and now WGSL 104.7, which is online radio. You can also connect with me on Instagram, like I said, at The Daily Dose for daily inspiration and resources for your healing journey. Don't forget to hashtag Gina Cherie / insecurities if you listen to today's show. Until next time, remember, healing doesn't have to be loud, growth doesn't have to be hard, and sometimes all it takes is a daily dose and a commitment. So do your journal prompts, you guys, and let me know on Instagram that you guys have done them. Hashtag Gina Cherie, GinaSherrie/insecurities. I am your host, Gina Cherie, and I will see you guys next time right here on WGSL 104.7 online radio. And stay blessed, stay encouraged, and make sure that you are actively working on your healing.